Thank you for visiting the Planning for Profit site. My name is Mark Frasco. I'm the founder and president of COACT Associates. Put together a series for you called Business Builder Series. And over the coming months, we're going to be talking about how to grow your business strategically, put the processes in place to make it happen. This first session I call the Business Growth Challenge. So I'd like to talk with you a little bit about the challenge that organizations have and that we hear a lot when we're doing our work. Harvard Business Review about 12 years ago or so did some research on business lost each year by organizations. They found that about 15 to 25% of last year's business is lost each year by organizations. This happens through economic cycles, attrition, lack of attention, competitive attacks, various reasons that business gets lost. When you couple that with the idea or the need that a business has to grow from past year, so you have the loss plus you have 10, 15, 20% growth that you're looking for in the coming year, it's an enormous challenge. So this is a business growth challenge that we need to think about, and we need to have processes and people in place to overcome. The second business growth challenge I'd like to talk about for a minute is many organizations lack the strategic focus or the dedicated resources and processes in place to actually grow their businesses. We'll talk in coming sessions. Most parts of our organizations are highly designed processes. The people are in place. We have goals and strategies in place to actualize the work that we set out to do. Oftentimes, when it comes to business growth, we don't have that same sort of, I'll say, diligence towards what we're doing. Big challenge for most organizations. As a supplier, and a distinction I'd like to draw out and have you think about, as a supplier, you're most often selected by your buying systems. You're evaluated and you're selected by those buying systems versus the other way around. We really like to try to promote, and I would like you to begin to think about who it is that you want to do business with over the next 2 to 3 years. Where do they hang out? What do they look like? What kind of company are they? What would they use that you sell? And go make friends with them. Choose your future clients rather than the other way around. More strategic, more deliberate. Another business growth challenge, the one that's probably been the biggest one in my career, is timing. If we could eliminate the variable of timing in the sales cycle, it would be a great accomplishment. Many of you out there who have done sales, have been in sales parts of your careers, have probably at some point or another heard a buying influence say to you, boy, I wish you were here, Mark, 6 months ago because we made the decision to do this or that and we chose another supplier. I like what you're saying, you're just a little bit late. Just as challenging, not quite as disappointing, is the buyer who says, gosh, Mark, I really like the message, I like your product or service, but I'm probably 12 to 18 months away from making that purchase. Well, if you don't do something in that 12 to 18 month period to make an impression, you haven't really positioned yourself any better than you had before. And that's a really great challenge. It's an enormous challenge because our organizations have a hard time if they don't have the process in place and the people in place to build impressions, to build a trusting relationship with a buying influence that's not going to buy for 12 or 18 months. That's typically not the way our systems are set up. So timing is a really big challenge for most organizations. What we've learned in our sales synergy system at COACT is that selling success is due to far more than technique. In the old days, they taught us a lot about open-end question, close-end questions, closing techniques, soft closes, hard closes, trial closes. And what we're finding is that sales success has a lot more to do with the design and implementation of a process that proactively, rhythmically communicates your value propositions, your strategic value to the market, to these targets. I'll call them high value targets, the ones that you've selected that you want to do work with, while building trusting relationships in that process that enable you to learn about these buying systems and a buyer's motivation to buy. Your goal, obviously, is to have a process in place that rhythmically, strategically, I'll say proactively communicates your value to the market, to high-value targets that you've selected, that you've determined are people that you want to do business with in the future. Not just talking with everybody that walks, but really strategically targeting these high-value targets. And building relationships with them. Interaction, we'll talk later sessions. Interaction is what creates these trusting relationships that allow you to competitively position yourself for success. So I hope you've enjoyed this first session. Our next session is going to be a conversation around the sales continuum and different tasks and stages inside that sales continuum and what you can do at each stage to be successful. Thank you.